Good morning, gentlemen. Active Aussie here, Tuesday morning. It's about 10 a.m. I'm up here at Salisbury Ridge. Just decided to go for a bit of a hike. I haven't done much exercise really in the last couple of days, so it's quite a bit of a workout to come up here, especially if I come up over the steep side. But I haven't been up here for about 3 months or so, say September, I think. I was scrolling through a few comments in regard to some of my videos, and there was one comment from someone who talked about oofy doofy theory, and I've mentioned this before, and they asked if I could make a brief video, or make a video in regard to this. So I'll do that now. I'm going to Amsterdam on Friday, and it's a bit of a weird feeling knowing that I'm going to be over 10,000 miles away from here very soon. I always get a bit jittery before I'm going overseas. I really don't like airports and flying, although I like traveling, but just going to the airport and getting to the destination is just a hassle. So I'd have to say I'm not really a good sort of traveller. Anyway, on to the main topic, oofy doofy theory. First of all, I feel that oofy doofy is not a theory at all. It's a real type of phenomena, but I really think it depends on geographical location to some extent. I see more of these oofy doofy type people in semi-rural type of areas away from large cities, although I've seen quite a few here in Brisbane, which is a large city. But I would define an oofy doofy as being a type of nerdy and goofy sort of guy or gal. Maybe they are, well, they could be middle class, but maybe they are like lower middle class type of people. That's just my opinion, and I'm not trying to disparage them by any means, by the way, because I'm from a working class family myself, but it just seems to be more that sort of demographic where you'll find these types, and you can pick them out by the way they dress. Like, for example, in my area, you might see some guys who are wearing long-sleeved or short-sleeved, like check shirts from places like Target or Kmart. They are sort of loudmouth type people. When you see them in somewhere like a bar, cafe, restaurant, or just out and about in various places outdoors, just got an Air New Zealand jet coming in above. So you can see them in various different sort of places, and I think, and also sports bars is one area where you will really notice them. And occasionally I go to a normie bar and I do see a lot of these oofy doofy types, and they can attract women, but it is the type of women that they can attract that you have to really think about. So I do see a lot of oofy doofy type men with women, but these are just sort of like quite average looking, plain gals. Some of them have tattoos. You see them smoking. They might drink a bit too much. It sort of reminds me of bogan culture here in Australia, and you'll find that a lot in the areas with colder sort of climates like Melbourne and Adelaide. So you'll see those dudes with their oversized flannelette jackets still see people wearing Ugg boots, the sheepskin boots, by the way, and they might have some light denim or dark denim jeans on, and even still see the mullet type hairstyles. And that was a big thing, like in the mid-80s, and used to see these types of guys here in Brisbane in the southern suburbs around Mount Gravatt, which is not far from where I am now, and they were actually called Bevans here, and a lot of people just consider them to be backward, uncultured, sort of redneck type individuals. And that's not my personal opinion, but that's just how, like, the normie strata, the mainstream of society viewed those people at the time. They were basically just hard-working, sort of normal members of society, but they used to get disparaged and called idiots and just thought of as being low class, and they've got no culture. And you'd see them driving around in like the Ford panel van. Some of you older Aussie guys would remember that. And various sort of sexual activities would occur in the back of these vans out in the suburbs and down on the Gold Coast. But that's going back to like late 70s to early 80s, mid 80s, so it's a long time ago. But I can see a correlation between the current day oofy doofies and sort of like the Bogans and the Bevans of the 70s and mid 80s. So these oofy doofy types who you see in places like sports bars, yes, they do attract the women, but they attract women who are more like on their own sort of level. Even though for myself, I'm a working class guy from a working class background, but I've always been fairly muscular and clean cut, and mostly have taken good care of myself, or tried to. But I have been overweight a few times. A few times I just drank too much beer, and that really puts on the weight. So you should reduce your alcohol consumption intake if you want to lose weight, as well as just generally speaking cutting back on your calories, and just have like 2 meals a day and smaller portions. It really makes a huge difference, and you can lose quite a few kilos very quickly. But I always attracted the sort of more elegant fashion, you could say trendy type women, especially when I was living in Asia. So I'd always attract these sort of middle class, elegant Asian, Chinese and Thai gals, but that was not what I meant to do. It was just a type of woman I seemed to attract. So this sort of attraction can depend on where you live, the sort of places you hang out with. So in regard to the oofy doofies, they are just attracting the sort of women who hang out in the same places where they hang out. I think it's fairly simple to explain, but maybe some of you guys have a few ideas in regard to oofy doofies, the oofy doofy theory. It's quite a funny description of a group of people, the oofy doofies. It always makes me laugh. And I remember I made a video about oofy doofy men who worship football teams. I think it was back in May or June this year. So a lot of them are like sports idolaters, sports worshipper type men, and I don't really hang around with that sort of crowd. I don't really care about sport, although I used to follow the Australian cricket team, but I just feel they're a bunch of arrogant, ignorant, very narcissistic people nowadays. The good old days of the late 70s, early 80s, when you had a lot of genuine sort of football players around and cricketers and more down-to-earth sort of people, those days are well and truly over. And back in those days, the sports stars had regular jobs on top of their sporting career. So it was just a different time, and people had a different sort of mindset. in regard to their careers and sport, that sort of thing. But that's all for now. This will be the last video I'm going to make for a while until I get overseas, but maybe in about a week's time I'll make a video and I'll upload a few shorts as well. I'm going to Amsterdam first, so that'll be the first place I'll make a video. But anyway guys, take it easy. I hope you're all doing okay as usual, and I'll talk to you again soon.